welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 131. 131. Artemis.
Yes, sir.
My pirate brother. How we doing, my friend?
Sir. I'm good, man. I'm good. Life is life. Life is good. We're in good spirits. We're in good health. Doing pretty good, man. A lot's been going on. We got a lot to go through, especially ECU wise. So I'm excited to get to 131 with you. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to get I thought I dodged my yearly case of sinus infection, but I'm getting through it. So this is gonna be a flu game type podcast for your boy here. So if you hear me sniffling, I'm sorry. If you hear me, I'm going to try to mute my mic if I cough. Can't say that I'll get it every single time. But glad to be back with you, Artie. Glad to be here talking to Pirate Nation. Yeah, a lot's gone on. A lot has gone on in the past week since we recorded last. And, yeah, I mean, we can get right into it. But first, Artie, number 31. Do you have a number 31 for me?
I do have a number 31. I know we're continuing this trend of not naming super famous athletes that have worn these numbers, but people, still famous athletes, guys and women that people may still know. So the guy that I got is a guy none other by the name of Mike Pizza. I don't think that's how you pronounce his last name.
No.
It looks like I think it's Piazza or Piazza. I don't know. I don't really care. It looks like pizza, so I'm gonna. It's a pizza. I'm gonna say
Piazza.
But all-time great MLB player. Played for the Los Angeles Dodgers, New York Mets, Oakland A's. 427 career home runs, .308 career batting average. I believe he just recently got into the Hall of Fame as a baseball player. So, but not somebody not too many people really know of, even though he had a very long and great Hall of Fame type baseball career. So Mike Piazza, that would be my
Mike Piazza.
That'd be my 31 for the week.
There you go. Okay, that's a good one. Gave Braves fans a lot of trouble in his time in New York. And yeah, I mean, all-time great catcher. But Artie, I got one. It's a little bit different. This guy, he only wore the number 31 for 8 games, I believe. I mean, now in the hockey world, this guy is, I mean, he is a superstar. He played for 18 seasons in the NHL. Hall of Famer, I believe, yeah. 7-time Cup winner, 7-time Vezina Trophy Award winner, 7-time All-Star, 1-time Hart Trophy winner, which is the MVP for the NHL. His name's Jacques Plante, or Jacques Plante. You can say it either way.
Was he French Canadian?
Yeah. He's French Canadian.
That's what it sounds like.
He started out playing. He played, I believe, 11 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, one of the all-time great goalies. Mm-hmm. I mean, he started out in the 50s, so this is kind of going back. All right, but Artie, he is the first goalie in the NHL to wear a goalie mask.
Huh.
Back before
they didn't think that was important when you got flying at you with 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, maybe even faster than that.
Yeah, so what led to it, and I actually was listening to a podcast, I think it was the Jeff Merrick show on Sportsnet in Canada. I was listening to his podcast the other day, and they were talking about Jacques Plante, and they were talking about the story of him wearing a goalie mask. It was seen as something that was not tough when you wore a mask, protecting the moneymaker, the face, right?
Yeah.
But Jacques Plante, he basically got hit in the face with a puck, and it broke his nose. He got like 17 stitches, and they wanted him to come back and play. He was like, "I'm only coming back and playing if I can wear this mask." he had a goalie mask, and they were like, all right, you can wear the mask until you're better. Well, they went on to win like 11, 12 straight games, and then their coach, who was like firmly adamant about goalies not wearing a mask, finally was like, you know what? We're hot. Keep wearing the mask. So from there on out, he wore the mask, and more goalies followed him.
Right. It just changed the game forever.
And back then, the mask didn't even cover your whole head. I mean, it was just your face. So, yeah, a true game changer. Jacques Plante, number 31, wore that number with the Boston Bruins. He's more famously known for wearing number 1 and number 30, but wore number 31 with the Bruins for, like I said, I believe 8 games, a total of 8 games in his last season in the NHL. But Artie, what a weekend. What a time to be alive. 2023, the year of our Lord. And we ended 2022 with some bangers. And then we started 2023 with another banger. I mean, the college football playoff, this was the best college football playoff I've ever seen. We've ever had.
It wasn't even close. This is the absolute best product the playoff has put together in, what is it, 7, 8, years they've been doing this now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, this is by far the best playoff.
Yeah, I mean, usually you have 2 games that are won by 3 or 4 touchdowns. I mean, usually it's not even close.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, had you asked me, I would have said this was going to be the year where it was going to be it was going to be blowouts all over the place. I mean, I thought Michigan would have blown out TCU. I thought Georgia would have blown out Ohio State. And, I mean, both of those games came right down to the wire. And sorry to have to make you talk about it, Artie, but that TCU Michigan game, what were your thoughts?
Hey, look, I knew I was going to have to face the music at some point and talk about this game. I mean, look, first off, you got to give TCU a lot of credit because, I mean, they came out like warriors. They came out like dogs. And you got to give that, credit where credit is due. When you got a bunch of players out there, their defense was flying around in that first half. Their offense was flying around in that first half. They looked like a team that was completely ready to, not just beat Michigan, but dismantle Michigan. So, I mean, that was, you absolutely got to give them credit on that. And then, just the us shooting ourselves in the foot, Michigan shooting themselves in the foot, those 2 pick sixes weren't really able to come back from it. It was a barn burner of a game. The second half that Michigan was able to put on after that was just incredible. But it's tough. It was a phenomenal game, and I didn't think that game was going to get outdone by the Georgia-Ohio State game, but it got outdone by the Georgia-Ohio State game. So,
yeah, I mean, it's I watched parts of both of those games. I missed the first half of the Ohio State game, but I watched the majority of the Michigan TCU game, and I mean, for 2 quarterbacks to play the way they did in that TCU Michigan game,
incredible.
I mean that was, you want to talk about slugfest, shootout. That was one of the better games I've seen in college football in a very long time.
It was weird because I've never seen a quarterback in JJ McCarthy put his team in such great positions to win or come back and win that game, but then also get a game away. The dude threw 2 pick sixes. You take away those 2 pick sixes, Michigan wins that football game. So it's like JJ played as good as he could play, and he played as bad as he could play in the same football game. It was absurd.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the Ohio State-Georgia game coming down to a kick, and, I mean, the guy might have been aiming at the college football Hall of Fame, it looked like.
We'll never know what he was aiming at. It wasn't the goalpost.
And it came, I mean, looking at I've watched the replay a couple of times. If you watch the holder, it looks like that kick was on the hold. I don't know for sure. But it looked like
had to be. You don't miss a kick.
You don't shank it. You don't shank it that bad.
That badly. You might shank, absolutely, but not. I mean, that was not even close from as soon as it left his leg, that you just knew that wasn't close.
Did you see after Younghoe Koo kicked a game-winning field goal the next day in Mercedes-Benz. Did you see what the Falcons tweeted?
No, I did not see it.
It's since been deleted, but they tweeted, that's how you kick a game-winning field goal in Mercedes-Benz. I was like, come on.
They should have deleted that. Look, I mean, it's a little, I'm sure it hurt the kids' feelings, but that's funny.
I mean, gosh.
That's funny. Look, all's fair in love and war. That's funny. But like, I mean, the product on the field, I mean, 2 all-time classics in that playoff. Obviously, I wish Michigan would have gotten it done. But you got to give TCU credit. And then I'm happy, very, very happy that Georgia narrowly escaped, because I would have hated to have to see Ohio State make it to a national championship after we waxed that ass this year. So,
yeah, that would have been brutal. It would have been brutal. But hey, it makes me even more excited for. I mean, this whole weekend makes me more excited for the 12-team playoff, because it showed. This whole weekend showed that we need more teams, because more teams are more competitive than what people may think they are.
Yep.
And yeah, it's one of the things that I'm most excited for. Now, Artie, national championship game is this coming Monday.
Yeah.
Monday night, SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Give me your pick. I'll pull the line up here in a second.
I mean, look,
Georgia's a 12.5-point favorite.
A smart man says Georgia. A wise man says Georgia. Obviously, I need Texas Christian University to win this football game. If you're going to beat my Michigan Wolverines, I need you to finish the deal. That's all I ask for. If TCU goes in and beats Georgia, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't care about that loss anymore, but I can sleep at night. I go to bed at night saying, you know what? They are clearly the best team in the country. I'm good with it. But if they go into this national championship game and just get dog shitted on by Georgia, then I'm just not going to feel good about this TCU loss. So I need TCU to win this game. They're probably not going to win this game. Stetson Bennett's going to get his back-to-back. It's probably just going to happen. But at least I hope for a good game. I'm hoping for a good game.
Yeah, I mean, if TCU wins this game, that's the ultimate Cinderella story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially after losing to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game, you go on to win a natty. Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, Artie, Tulane beat Kansas State. Kansas State beat TCU in the Big 12 championship game. Does Tulane take the route of former AAC football member, well, still current, UCF? Are they going to hang a banner? Are they the transitive win champions?
No.
I think so.
No.
ECU can say that they lost to the eventual national champions.
Look, I think it's good enough losing to the Cotton Bowl champions. I'm good enough with that. I'm good enough. We lost to the Cotton Bowl champions. I'm good enough with that. So
if you look back at the beginning of the season and talk about like where we were going into that Tulane game, and after that Tulane game, I mean, if you go back to that and say that NC State was a win, and looking at the end of the season, man, what a season that is. Like, you played, the best team you played was Tulane.
Yes.
The best team you played all season was Tulane.
Yeah, you can absolutely say that now. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't NC State. It wasn't Houston, even though they dog walked us.
Yes.
It wasn't Cincinnati. It wasn't UCF. It was Tulane. But so you're taking Georgia, but you want TCU.
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia. I think the same way I took Georgia over Ohio State. They're just a better team. They have that championship medal. They know how to win these games. And TCU has never been to this game. So and that's why I'm taking Georgia.
Well, to that point, I mean, they had never been to the semifinal game.
That's true. And very, very true.
TCU has nothing to lose in this game. They've got nothing to lose.
And they showed that against Michigan. They played like they had nothing to lose against Michigan. And I expect them to do the same against Georgia.
And it's Georgia has everything to lose. They've got the SEC bias to lose. They've got defending national champs to lose. They've got the undefeated record to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all that being said, I think all the pressure is on the Bulldogs from Athens.
With that being said, how long of a winning streak are they on? They've got to be close to 20-game win streak, if not longer than that. Did they lose a game last year? They lost a game last year, right?
Artie, we don't yet have an intern.
I was about to say, where's the intern? We need the intern.
So now you're gonna make me look it up.
I'm actually kind of curious about that. When's the last time Georgia lost a football game? And what kind of a win streak are they on?
I don't think they went undefeated.
15 to 20 games, maybe even more than that.
They lost at some point to
last season, right?
To Alabama.
Was it the SEC title game last year? I think it was the SEC. They lost to Bama in the SEC title game, then they beat Bama in the championship game.
I think that's right.
I think the SEC title game last year to Alabama was their last loss. So they're rolling on at least a 15, 16 game win streak. So yeah, they've got a lot to lose. They've definitely got a lot to lose.
Yeah, I'm still trying to pull it up. Let's see. Just to make sure, just to clarify, the Georgia Bulldogs in 2021, I know they lost to Alabama, but I don't know when. If that was the SEC championship game, then they're on like a 16-game winning streak.
Yeah.
So,
because they were undefeated last year, and then they lost to Bama, which still got them into the playoff because that was their one loss, and then they ran the table after that. I think that's how that went.
Let's see. It's finally pulling it up. All right.
So Google takes
forever. So hey. So yeah, in their last 2 seasons, because they're 14-0 right now, the University of Georgia Bulldogs are 28-1, with their sole loss being a 41-24 loss in the SEC championship game to the University of Alabama Crimson Tide.
That is absurd. 28-1 in 2 seasons with a natty.
And I mean, last year they beat Clemson. They beat Arkansas, who had a good season. They beat Kentucky. And I mean, everybody else. I mean, then they beat Michigan and then beat Alabama in the national championship game. So, yeah, I mean, the streak's got to end at some point. At some point, it's going to end.
It is, but I just don't think it ends.
Horn frogs, horn.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell what it is.
It's like,
I do hope they win though. I'm gonna be ECU.
Hey, go Frogs! I mean, hell, I'll take them. I have nothing to lose in taking them.
No, you don't. Yeah.
I love the story. I love the story. I love the. And who knows? This may be the powers that be playing their hands and showing, hey, like, we need more disparity in college football. Let's show a team that's in their first year with a head coach winning the national championship. Just say, hey, here's why we're going to a 12-team playoff. That may be why.
Yeah.
Who knows? Don't shoot the messenger. But that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But Artemis, another team that did a complete 180, went from 2-10 to now, what'd they finish the season with?
12-2.
12-2.
12-2. Can we give Tulane some love? We got to give Tulane some love here.
And in doing so, they beat a team that is a Pac-12 championship game title, at least, away from being in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And beat a healthy Heisman winner to do it.
Like, if we're being honest,
what else does the American need to do to prove to you that we are the best group of 5, Power 6 that's out there? Like, we're the best group of 5 out there. There's no, I don't care, Sun Belt, Conference USA, MAC, Mountain West, whatever. Y'all can kick rocks. You might as well better off go to FCS because that's what you are. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
I mean, Jared, look, Tulane, and look, I know Boise State and UCF and Cincinnati, they did it first, right? And Cincinnati got to a playoff. But what Tulane did this season, in my opinion, did more for the group of 5, and especially the American Athletic Conference, than any of those other teams did, simply because they won their bowl game, and it was a New Year's Six bowl game, and it was a huge Cotton Bowl game. And it was a team against, like, it was the opponent in which they beat, right? We're talking SC. We're talking Southern Cal. We're talking all-time historic. When you think college football, USC's in your top 5. Like that's what you're thinking. You're thinking Lincoln Riley. You're thinking, like you said, healthy Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Caleb Williams. This game was supposed to be a blowout. USC was supposed to win this game by 30. They were supposed to win this game by 30. I thought they were going to win this game in a blowout. I thought a healthy Caleb Williams, was going to go in here right off into the sunset, beat Tulane, win by 20, 30 some points. I did, and I'm eating crow on that, and I'm happy that I'm eating crow on that. Positively happy that I'm eating crow on that. But what Tulane did in that Cotton Bowl did more for the American in the group of 5 than any other team I can think of. They showed the entire nation this USC team that was a game away from being in the playoff. We are not only right there with them, we beat them. We're there. We are there. Our talent is there. So,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's.
I don't want to hear another person, anybody, tell me that the Sun Belt is even on our level. They're not. They're not already.
They've got good teams. You got to give them some credit. They've got some good teams.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina that we dog walked. Their best team is Troy. I guarantee half the people that listen to the Boneyard Podcast, well, maybe not. I'll give them credit because they're all smart people for listening to the Boneyard Podcast. But I guarantee if you asked most people where the Sun Belt champion, Troy Trojans, what state
where they
Troy is in, where are they? They are in Alabama. Come on.
And look,
then you add UT San Antonio and UAB on top of that.
Yeah,
Memphis, ECU, UAB, UT San Antonio, SMU, Tulane. South Florida's not going to be down for long.
And top to bottom. I think Tulsa's going to make a comeback here in a couple of years too. Tulsa's not going to stay down for long either. So, I mean, they're right there in Oklahoma. They're right in the middle of the country with a whole bunch of talent right there between Oklahoma, Texas, all them states right there. So Tulsa's not going to stay down for long. So the American's fine. I think the American is absolutely okay.
The American's fine. I mean, Artie, I'll probably get a lot of shit for this. I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, but I'm going to. I might get a lot of shit for this. The American Athletic Conference in football is a top 4 conference right now.
Okay. Who's the 3 ahead of them?
I would put the SEC,
the
Big Ten, and it can flip-flop between the Big 12 and the ACC. This year, the ACC is down.
Okay. So you're saying without a shadow of a doubt, the Pac-12 is behind
Yeah.
the American. And on any given Sunday, the ACC or the Big 12 can be behind the American.
I think so. I mean, I think so. I mean, top to bottom, competitively, I think that the American can show that we can compete with. I mean, the new best teams in the Big 12. Some of the new guys.
Yeah.
2 of them got beat by ECU. One almost got beat by ECU. Like, come on. I mean, and then you look at some of these other guys. I mean, West Virginia. What have they done in the last 5 years? I mean, other than TCU this year.
Yeah.
We talked about Kansas State. Kansas State lost to Tulane.
Yep.
I mean, Iowa State is trash.
Well, Iowa State's hit or miss. Baylor's hit or miss. Oklahoma with Brent Venables doesn't look that great now. They had a losing season for the first time in like 30 years or something like that. Texas is not back.
And those two schools, the money makers in the Big 12, guess what? They're leaving. They're gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After next year, I believe they're gone.
Which they're gonna have to. Truthfully, Texas and Oklahoma got to figure it out quick because you leaving. You're gonna leave to the big boy, and the SEC not waiting. First off, the SEC doesn't need Oklahoma or Texas, so it's not like they're waiting on these programs. They're just going to keep flying, and so Texas and Oklahoma, they're gonna have to do something quick to compete with these Georgias and Tennessees and Alabamas and Ole Misses. Like they got to do something quick.
Yeah, they got to do something, and to that point, Artie. They're leaving the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
They're leaving the Big 12.
Yeah, and
the
American can absolutely surpass the Big 12 far enough. Like within 2 to 3 years, they can absolutely surpass the Big 12. Yeah, absolutely.
The Pac, and then you look at the Pac-12, UCLA, USC,
gone. Yeah,
peace, gone.
So who's left to run that conference? Washington and Oregon. That's about it.
And rumors are that they want to leave too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're like a San Diego State away from the Pac-12. Like that. So yeah, I mean, it may not be that hot of a take, but that's my take. Is that the American is the 4th best conference in college football, and I don't think it's even remotely worth a discussion. I mean, that I don't know. Am I wrong in that?
It's absolutely worth the discussion because the American, and there are times, and the teams in the American got to hold up. They end of the deal too. Like we say this that these teams are going to come in and they're going to be great, but they actually have to do that. Like San Antonio has to remain what they are. ECU has to remain what they are and ascend. Memphis has to ascend back to what they were a couple of years ago. Tulane's got to try to stay even kill. I mean, you're not going to surpass a season like unless Tulane goes on to win a national championship. This is as good as it gets at Tulane. It's never going to get better than this. So how do you maintain that level of success for Tulane? The American teams still have to hold up there in the bargain. But I agree. On any given Saturday, the American is better than the Big 12. The American is better than the ACC. The American is better than the Pac-12. I think the only 2 conferences that you cannot say the American is not better than is the SEC and the Big 10. So I would agree. The conversation can be had, and there's a whole bunch of pundits out there going to call us idiots, but it's a legitimate conversation.
I mean, I think of course it won't show up on paper with the strength of schedule, because anybody that looks at the strength of schedule statistic, you're a damn fool, because you're looking at an inflated statistic that is inflated by national media writers who work in markets that cover some of these bigger teams, these quote unquote Power 5 schools. I mean, NC State should not have been in the top 25 to end the season. UNC,
what is that?
UNC should not have been in the top 25 to end the season. UNC went 1-4 in their last 5 games. And then they were ranked in the ACC championship. Out of the ACC at the end of the year, the only 2 teams that I think should have been ranked, Florida State and Clemson. And even Clemson is kind of a stretch at times.
Well, I mean, Clemson should have been ranked because they won the conference. They won 11 games.
I guess that's true.
I mean, they absolutely should have been ranked. And Florida State's – I think Florida State's back, honestly.
Oh, yeah, Florida State's – watch out for Florida State over the next 2 or 3 years. But, like, I mean, Notre Dame technically isn't in the ACC, but they beat the shit out of the top teams in the ACC all year. And Notre Dame had a down. This is a Notre Dame team that lost to Stanford and Marshall.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then almost lost to Navy. Like, don't give me that. Don't get, like, the ACC, anybody that is listening and is pounding their fist over us talking bad about the ACC can walk the damn plank for all I care. They ain't shit to me.
And I'll say this about the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC. They're very top-heavy. So we're not discrediting their top-heavy teams. The teams at the top are very good.
Clemson's a good team.
Those are very good teams at the top. They can get to a playoff. They can win a championship. They're good teams at the top. But we're talking about your middle level and your bottom tier teams in these conferences are quite honestly dog shit most of the time.
I would take the schedule ECU played this year over the schedule that NC State played. I mean, NC State's best opponent was Clemson.
Bless.
And then Carolina. Like, come on. Did they play Florida State? I think they played Florida State.
But according to State fans, we were their Super Bowl.
Yeah, they were our. Yeah, I mean,
or they were our Super Bowl. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when NC State fans were telling me that this year was going to be different, that they were going to actually win something, and they didn't win a damn thing. They finished the season with the same record as ECU, and honestly played in an easier conference than ECU did this year. Sorry about it.
I sometimes do feel bad for State fans, though. Their optimism, their hope and optimism to think that their program's going to turn around at some point. It's honestly hurtful to watch sometimes. They truly believe that NC State football is a legit thing, and
I hope that every State fan got coal in their stocking for Christmas. I don't want them to ever have anything good, any glimpse of hope in life.
I mean, to think that State and ECU are not equals as far as football programs, or ECU is not better at some point, or State is not better at some point. We're equals. Like, it's not like their ideology behind State being this premier program. What the hell has State done? What have they done?
Other than have a coach that blocked the host of the Premier Podcast on Twitter.
I do feel bad for him sometimes.
I don't. I'll never feel bad for them. I'll never care about them. Artie, when my kids ask me where they can go to school, I will tell them, guess what? I'll pay for you to go anywhere. I'd love for you to go to ECU. But if you choose to go to that school in Raleigh that wears red, guess what? You can pay for it yourself. Sorry.
What if they get a full ride to State, man?
Then State's paying for it. I'm not paying for it.
But you're not going to support? You're not going to show up?
If they go on an athletic scholarship to State, I will not wear red. I will not wear red to their games. I won't put that stupid little wolf on my shirt.
You're not going to get the State Dad T-shirt? Come on now. You're going to be rocking the State Dad.
They give me a State Dad sticker. I'm going to rip it in front of their
sticker face. And everything. Proud NC State Dad.
This is coming from somebody that has a baby on the way. If they give me a State Dad sticker, I'm going to rip it in their face and tell them, you disappoint me.
Jared, you don't know how bad I kind of want your child to grow up and go to NC State now. Like, I kind of want to see it. I just want to see it.
Oh God. State. All right, that's enough. I don't know how we got on the rabbit hole of state, but they suck. I'd hate to be one of them. But yeah, already the American is in good hands.
Yeah.
So do you agree that the American right now is a top 4 conference?
I would say top 5. I still put maybe the Pac-12, maybe the Pac-12 over the American. Because of their top heavy teams. I think the Pac-12's best teams are still better than the Americans' best teams, even though Tulane just beat USC. But I think the Americans are top 5 conference. I think Big 12 is going to be a joke in the next couple of years. I think the ACC is a joke right now. So yeah, I would absolutely put the American top 5.
All right. At least we know that we're in the top 5. Welcome to the group of 5 ACC. All right, Artie. Some news around ECU football. Bunch of guys declaring for the draft.
Yeah.
I don't even want to begin to start talking about what ECU needs because they need a lot right now.
Everything. It feels like the whole team's just up and left. Like, all right, deuce.
I mean, you got 2 guys that played. You got Jalen Johnson on wide receiver who's going to be back unless something changes in the next couple of days. Like he's number 1. He's wide receiver 1 going into next year. I mean, Josiah Hatfield will be back next year, I believe. And then, we'll see some other guys, maybe like a Kerry King, step up. But big hit, a big loss for ECU. Keaton Mitchell declares for the draft. And hey, go get your money, young dog. Go get it. We've talked about it already on the podcast, not this episode, but in previous episodes. Keaton Mitchell is in that prime position where he put up a money-making season. And he proved I can do this at this level and I can do it at the next level. And we all know running backs have a short lifespan in football. I mean, they don't last long, and he needs to go out and make his money. And so we support him. Deuce, we support you. We want you to succeed. We wish you all the best. And I can see this guy going second round, possibly early third round.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say the shelf life of a running back, like you said, it's just not that long. It's 10 years at best. At best, you can get 10 years, out of a running back. So he's got to capitalize on this opportunity that he has right now. He can go and try to make, while he's still young, got them fresh legs, capitalize on this opportunity to make the most money he can make. He's fulfilled his obligation at East Carolina University. He doesn't owe the football program or the university anything else. He's already given what he was, obligated to do, and then some. He's a top 3 running back in the history of the program. Deuce, like you said, we support it. We hate to see you go, but we absolutely support it. Go get your bag. Go get paid. You're absolutely going to go get drafted. I don't know what round. I think third round. I will say I think he's a mid third round, maybe early fourth round pick. But I definitely think he gets drafted in this class. And go get that bag, man. It was a pleasure watching you. So.
Yeah, and then another guy on the offense leaving. This one kind of surprised me. I thought for sure he would consider staying back. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the talent to go to the NFL, but CJ Johnson also declares for the draft. I wish. I mean, I think he'll get drafted. I think he'll get drafted, but I think he could have gotten drafted higher had he stayed one more year and played at ECU and been the true number one guy next year for the Pirates.
Yeah, I think one more year of personal and player development would have done CJ a lot of good. Look, he had a monster year this year. I think he's going to get drafted too. And the team is going to get a good receiver in CJ. My main concern with CJ is, his podium etiquette and his mental capacity is he ready? Is he all the way ready to be a pro? And what that comes, it's not just balling. You don't just go to the pro and just ball. Like, there's a lot of things that go into being a professional athlete. The etiquette, the decorum, how you carry yourself, the things that you do in the community. You're always going to have cameras and microphones in your face. Is he ready for all that? I mean, yeah, D1 football is big time, but it's not the NFL. And if you want to be the receiver that we all think you can be, which means you're going to be a primetime good receiver, that's even more notoriety and, things coming your way. So my main concern is CJ all the way ready for this kind of moment? I hope he is. I pray he is. I hope he has the right people in his camp and the right people around him that are getting him ready, getting him prepared to say, okay, you're going pro now. So, I mean, there are certain things that you didn't do at ECU that you're just going to have to do in the pros. You're just going to have to do it. But from a talent standpoint, he's there. He's got all the credentials. He's got the body. He's got the frame. He's got the talent, the skill. From a talent standpoint, I'm not worried about CJ Johnson. He's going to be fine.
Yeah. And then the next two that we'll talk about, offensive lineman, Justin Redd, Miles Berry, two friends of the podcast.
Yes.
I actually was texting with Miles earlier this week, and
look, Miles is a 336 kid, baby. That boy from the Trey Foe.
.336 kid. He I mean, I think Miles gets drafted. Justin, I think, has a shot late. I mean, he's a big guy. I could see both of them getting drafted, but if I had to pick out of him or Justin, I think Miles is the higher draft prospect. Just got a good head on his shoulders. He's a baller. I mean, he truly is just a baller. So yeah, I think we're gonna see quite a bit. Now, Artie, I'm looking here, and the most players drafted in any year, it looks like, is 4 from the 1992 team.
For ECU?
Robert Jones, Jeff Blake, Luke Fisher. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the 1992 team, 1992 NFL draft. Robert Jones, Jeff Blake, Luke Fisher, Chris Hall, and is that Deion Johnson? Yeah. All drafted in 1992. That's what is that, 5? Artie, does ECU pass that number this year?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think Isaiah Winstead, Hole Nailers, Miles Berry, Keaton Mitchell, CJ Johnson, I mean, that's 5 right there.
I think we get Keaton, Isaiah Winstead, CJ Johnson. And honestly, I don't know if Holton gets drafted, man. I can see Miles.
Somebody's gonna draft Hole Nailers.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna say 4. I think Holton's gonna end up on a roster for sure. But I don't know if he gets drafted.
I think he gets drafted.
But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong.
And it also wouldn't surprise me if one of our offensive linemen get drafted. I mean, it just wouldn't. The size that our offensive line had this year, it wouldn't surprise me. So, I mean, I'm gonna say I think we at least tie it. 5 guys get drafted this year.
You think it's 5?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
I do think it's 3 for certain. Winstead, Johnson, Mitchell. I think those 3 certainly get drafted. It can be a toss-up with everybody else, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if Hogan gets drafted. Wouldn't be shocked if Miles Berry gets. I think Miles is going to get drafted. Wouldn't be shocked if Red gets drafted. But I just don't. I don't necessarily see it.
Mm. We'll have to see how it all plays out, Artie. But yeah, congratulations to all of them. They fulfilled their commitment to East Carolina, and we hope for nothing but the best for all of them. We'll try to get Miles in and some of these other seniors in over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months leading up to the draft as they prepare for the 2023 NFL draft. Artie, moving on, ECU basketball beat Wichita State over the weekend on the road and then lost a tough one to UCF last. I don't think the Pirates have beaten UCF in like 22, 23 straight games in basketball. It's a tough look. And all I got to say, free throws win ball games. Free throws win ball games.
Yeah.
And you got to somehow figure out how to come out of the half or start a game and play a full game. I mean, you just can't have these stretches where you go 5-6 minutes without scoring a point. Not in this league. And I think some of that has to do with maturity. Not in a sense that these guys aren't mature, just they haven't played at this level long enough.
Right.
So to be 10-6 and to have those problems,
right?
If we could shoot free throws, we'd probably be 10-3 on the season or 13-3 on the season.
You've got
damn happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a guy still trying to build a program. Trying to get these guys to buy into. Schwartz is trying to get the guys to buy into what he's selling, and it's a process. It's going to take time. Like you said, we're sitting at 10-6, which isn't great, but it isn't bad either. And we still have these problems. We still have the issues of not being able to put together a complete game, missing free throws. Guys maybe not being all the way balled in, or he might, Schwartz not having all his guys that he wants just yet. It's going to be a process, but the fact that we are still talented enough to still be sitting at 10-6 and still be competing in these games, and we lost to UCF by 3, so it's definitely encouraging to see. I'll absolutely say that.
Yeah. Now, already some breaking news: 4-star linebacker transfer from Carolina has just committed to play football at East Carolina. Another 4-star.
Why are we getting all Carolina's kids? What the hell's going on? Are we getting their whole defense?
Pretty much, which I mean.
Did Houston and Mac Brown go to dinner or something?
His name is Ra Dilworth. And now, Artie, I'll let you say the Trey Foe when talking about 336 kids, but really the Trey Foe is Winston-Salem. He's a Trey Foe kid. So
what area codes does Winston have, Jared?
Artie, it's not about the area code.
What area code does Winston have?
Artie,
what area code does Winston have?
It's not about the area code. It's not about the area code.
Okay. Excuse me, because Winston is 20 minutes away from Greensboro. They're the real Trey Foe. Okay, whatever. You can have
Artie, do you want me to explain it? Do you want me to explain it?
No, I know. Trust me, I know the story. My girlfriend went to Winston-Salem State. Trust me, I know the stories of Trey Foe.
That is the number on the inmates' uniforms. They all start with 3-4.
I know.
In Winston-Salem. I know. That's where you get the Trey Foe. So,
but
I'm from the Trey Foe. I live in the Trey Foe. Greensboro ain't shit. Welcome to the 252, Ra Dilworth. What a name, Ra.
Yeah, that's something.
All right, Artie, we've had a lot of fun this episode. You got anything else to say about basketball?
No, we can wrap basketball up. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see us beat Memphis this weekend. That's gonna be a good game. Walk the plank. Artemis, walk the plank. Do you have a walk the plank this week? Take the second one. Take the second one. You like to rag on him.
Yeah, what? You talking about Skip Bayless?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. I think the tweet was ill-timed. I think it was a little ignorant, and I also think it was misworded. But I do kind of understand what he was trying to say. I don't think he was trying to be malicious or not care about DeMar Hamlin's situation. I just think it was ill-timed and misworded the way he said it. Because at the end of the tweet, he did say this all seems so irrelevant because of the situation that's going on. He definitely should have used that time and his platform to come out and just show support of the tragic situation that was going on and not even speak on the game because nobody cared about the game at that particular point in time. So that was ill-timed. I don't know if you saw his response. So him and Shannon got into it, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, that was heated.
Undisputed. I thought I give Shannon all the credit in the world.
I thought Shannon was going to walk off the set and be like, I'm done.
I thought he was either going to walk off the set or come across that table and show, Skip Bayless what he's really about. So I give him a ton of credit for that. But, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to sit here and rag Skip Bayless because I don't believe that he's a inhumane person. And I don't think he meant that tweet in an inhumane way. But it shouldn't have been tweeted and he should have worded it better. So Skip Bayless, walk the damn plank. And Skip, you suck anyway. So.
All right. Artie. NC State play-by-play voice. Gary Hahn.
Yeah.
Just casually, when talking about the Sun Bowl, mentions UCLA and whoever they were playing down there with all those illegal aliens. Like, just casually.
Oh.
And I mean, I get it. I get what you're thinking there. But you can't say that. Not live on air. You shouldn't say it at all, but you definitely can't say it live on air and not expect repercussions.
Because I know a lot of those people down there are not illegal aliens. They are legal, certified American citizens who probably would not appreciate that kind of a comment. So
he was suspended indefinitely, or he was suspended immediately, I should say. I don't think they've said when he'll be back, but State, in all their glory, has said that Gary Hahn will be back on a microphone at some point once he serves his suspension, which is pretty on brand for NC State. Let that stew. This man, and I see people saying, oh, he made a mistake. I'm sorry. Artie and I sit here and we talk into a microphone for an hour and a half each week. And we could say things. We could probably say things that wouldn't go over well, right?
Yeah, we can,
but we don't. But we don't, because guess what? We think about what we're saying. Just like Gary Hahn could think about what he was saying. That wasn't a hot mic situation. That wasn't that slipped situation. That was Gary Hahn going out of his way to say something insanely racist. And I mean, State reinstating him after he said that, it wasn't an accident. People are saying, oh, he made a mistake. You can't make that kind of mistake, especially not in today's age. Okay? Sorry about it.
And it's just giving him a free pass to do blatantly wrong or racist things. Just like, okay, well, yeah, we'll give you a little slap on the wrist. Come on back. We don't really care anyway. That's basically what NC State's saying. And so.
Yeah. So, NC State, Gary Hahn, walk the damn plank. I was thinking about this earlier, Artie. We need a counter for how many times certain people have walked the plank. Like now, I think you've done Skip Bayless like 5 times.
Yeah, it's been a bunch. It's at least 3.
I know I've done Rob Manfred. I did Rob Manfred like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So if one of our listeners wants to go back and listen to all the Walk the Planks and put that together, we're working on getting an intern. Interviewed one yesterday. Once they come in, maybe that'll be a job for them to go back and do a counter of who has been told to walk the plank.
Yeah.
But Artie, we've been going for almost an hour now. Let's start wrapping this thing up. First and foremost, prayers for Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, his family, friends, the football community. Sounds like as of today, there's a bunch of good news to be had. He's still, I mean, it seems like he's starting to make a recovery. Scary situation, one that you don't ever want to see in sports. And we talked about it in our group chat the other day, like how this is new, or it hasn't really happened in football, but it's not new to sports. And it just goes to remind you that these people are just that. They're human beings. They are people too. And their blood flows the same way that my blood flows, the same way that Artie's blood flows, the same way that all of you listeners' blood flows. Their bodies work the same way. Now, a slightly higher capacity than my body works. But this goes to show that these people are humans. And they're humans before they're athletes. And I mean, I don't know what you could do to keep this from happening again and keep football the same way, or keep any sport the same way. This could happen in any sport. I saw a video about it happening in lacrosse. I've seen a video. I mean, I've shown you videos of it happening in hockey. I mean, I'm sure it could happen in baseball. I mean, it could probably even happen in the NBA, even though all those guys are soft. I'm sorry, but no, this was a very scary situation, and I'm glad to hear that he's doing better. Already watching it, what did you think?
Yeah, I was actually watching that game. I had it on. I was watching it live. And when he first went down, I didn't see him stand up and then fall back down. But when he first went down, I kind of just thought, okay, well, this is a head injury. You see this in the NFL all the time. It's a head injury. It's probably gonna need a few minutes. I didn't really think much of it, and then it got a lot more serious when you started seeing the players come out and they started forming this human wall. And I know in high school, we had a guy that had a pretty gruesome injury where he broke his femur during a game, and there was a wall that was formed because you didn't want people to just to see that he was in very much pain. He was in agonizing pain. He was screaming. He was crying. Didn't want people to see that, so there was a wall formed. As soon as I saw that wall being formed to where they didn't want people to see, that's like, okay, this is pretty serious. The ambulance come out, and it turned very quickly into a situation that not an isolated incident, like you said. We've seen this happen before, but a freak incident that does not happen all the time. I want to shout out the first responders that were able to do CPR on him and resuscitate him on this scene. That was tremendous in saving this young man's life. They were on it. I want to give a lot of credit to the players and the coaches for just being able to kind of adapt in that moment. And from what I hear, the NFL kind of left it up to them as far as deciding, hey, we can't go. We're scrapping this. That's just the end of it. The main concern is Damar Hamlin, not this game. And that's what I'm hearing the NFL did. And I think that was the right decision to say, okay, we're just going to put this in your hands. Let y'all decide this. You guys are the boots on the ground. Go ahead and handle that situation and decide what's best for you and the players. And then, obviously the updated news today that Damar Hamlin was awake. He was moving his extremities on his body. He's no longer sedated and asleep. So that is, thank God for that, obviously, to the fact that he's awake now and that he is still critically ill, but he's getting better. And that's what you always want to hear. But, football is a violent game. It's a violent sport. You can't take the violence out of football. You can get rid of football, but you can't take the violence out of football. Then you don't have the sport anymore. This is something that everyone that's ever played football has signed up for. We know what we're getting into when we sign up for it. That doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it, any easier to play this game and to know that in the back of your mind that some of these things can happen. But as long as you are doing everything you can to take some of these vicious hits out, which I think the NFL is doing a decent job. They started way too late, but they're doing a decent job of it. But at the end of the day, the gruesomeness and the violent nature of this sport, it's still going to be there. You just got to try to limit it as much as you possibly can. So I'm just happy to hear that his situation is getting better. I'm happy to know that his family is there with him and he is actually awake and speaking words. So that's obviously just makes me happy for his situation. So
yeah, very well said, Artie. So on that note, I think we should start wrapping it up. First off, Artie, this was a fun episode. Had a blast speaking with you, as always. My pirate brother in arms. No, some announcements, or one announcement really. This episode. So if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google, wherever, we're on all of them now. If you're listening, but you want to see how this is made, watch Artie make stupid faces at me while I try to talk.
All episode long.
You can do that. You can do that now. All you got to do is go to YouTube. Jeez, Jared. It's not like you speak on a podcast, but go to YouTube and all you got to do, look up Boneyard Podcast, the Boneyard Podcast. You'll find us. You know what our logo looks like. You'll see us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to start posting all of our episodes on the YouTube channel from here on out. So if you want to watch us instead of listen on Apple or Spotify or wherever, feel free to. And let us know what you think. This thing is going to be, we're trying to take this thing to the moon in 2023. The Boneyard Podcast is going to the moon. And we want y'all to be involved. And this YouTube channel isn't just going to be, it's not just going to be episodes. We got other content that we're working on, that we're thinking about, that we're trying to put together. And I think it's going to be something that you as listeners are really going to enjoy. If you enjoy the personality that we try to bring to ECU athletics and the ECU media, I hope you'll enjoy and subscribe to the Boneyard Podcast and our YouTube channel. And on that note, make sure you're following us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Boneyard Podcast. And and if you haven't, it's 2023. I guess now's the best time to say it. Leave us a review. Give us a review. I know our reviews, our star rating on Apple has gone down. And that's really only because I've pissed off too many UCF and NC State fans, and they're coming in and
hold on. What do you mean it's gone down?
It's like we're at like a 4.5, which is still great. It's still great, but it's a bunch of NC State and UCF fans that I pissed off earlier this year that are going in and giving us a 1-star review and not even listening to the podcast. So if you're still listening right now, right this second, if you're still listening to the Boneyard Podcast, an hour and 4 minutes in, go in and hit 5 stars. You'll be a friend of the podcast for life. We got you. Artie, say the thing.
Wash your hands. Wash your butts, people. Until next time, Power Nation. Deuce.
Peace.